Hello my lovelies, it's Keely O'Brien here and I'm back on day 6. Where is the time going? Day 6 of Kerry the Crafter's Challenge, which is hashtag Mixed Media March 25. I'll put a link down in the description if you would like to know more about that challenge. Yeah, I've already done days 1 to 5. Surprise, surprise, because here we are on day 6. I am struggling with time really badly this week. I've got so much like personal stuff going on, and yeah, things, work, all sorts of stuff is just all happening at the same time, which is fine, but yeah, it hasn't left me much time today. So I created this masterboard. It's not my usual masterboard book. This is another sketchbook, and it has some gorgeous, look at those metallic mauve jelly prints, and I am actually going to cut this one up, but I wanted to add a few stamps that I prepped the other day, and these are just with like Ranger archival inks, and they're really cute. Look, they've got mushrooms, butterflies, little narcissus daffodils and things, and they're really pretty. So I thought I would add those in here and then cut it all up, and then I'm going to make something. I don't even know what. I might maybe cut it and make 4 postcards. I'm just flying by the seat of my pants with this one. So, but I think it's going to be lovely because I really adore that metallic-y, sheeny, mauvey colour. Now, I always loved mauve when I was little. Not so much like purple, but mauve. And I always wanted a mauve bedroom. And I did sort of get mauve wallpaper when I was little. That was kind of my colour. My grandma loved pink, and her bedroom was pink, so I sort of wanted mauve. Anyway, there you go. Oops. So I'm just sort of looking for the gaps here, really. There aren't all that many, but I just want to... There we go. So everything that's mauvey purple on here is from my gel plate. Some of the ones that I actually did last year for the postcard challenge that Kerry did. You can have a look at those if you like. I don't think I used any of these before, but I just really wanted to get to use them, so I did make this background a little while ago. Hope that's not cheating. Let's just call it preparation. And you know what they say about perfect preparation, but it's rude, so I'm not going to say it here. Okay, right, so I stamped these. You might wonder why I used lined paper, but I've got this really old book that I picked up when I went into railing. I could tell you the year. I think it was 1991. I think I picked up that book in France. It's got a list of things, or it might have been in Cyprus. So I lived in Cyprus for a little bit. It's got a list of things to take on a trip that I went on somewhere inside the book, but the rest of it is empty, and it's this lovely browny faded colour, and it's actually, I think it's the same book that I used here with these little holes, and I think they add to the loveliness and the interest of it all. Just my opinion. So yeah, just filling in a few bits hither and thither, and also it just adds a few colours as well, doesn't it? So there we go. I'm always saying that, aren't I? There we go. And so they're my thinking words. Do you have thinking words? Words that help you think. Let's maybe stick that maybe there. It's got an edge like a stamp, something like this one, hasn't it? So these backgrounds are all stamped with stamps. Surprise, surprise, that I had. Where are my blue scissors? Oh, the mess in here, you wouldn't believe. Oh, I think they're in my work bag. So I took my newest cut and collage book to work with me yesterday, and had a couple of quiet hours, which is always nice, sitting in the sun cutting up my new book. So I actually filmed that and put it on TikTok and Instagram, so if you want to go over there and see the bits from my latest book, be my guest. Drop me a hello when you get there. No, I don't want to waste that, so let's add it on down there. What do we think? What do we think? I think it needs something up there. And bearing in mind I'm going to cut this up, it doesn't really matter if I repeat things because it's more of a traditional sort of masterboard. Maybe that. Yes. So it's got some going across horizontally and some vertically, which I think just gives it a bit more cohesion and structure. Let's put that on there. There we go. Right, so I am going to carefully remove this. Fairly carefully remove this. And it has got those holes that you can tear through, but it's also got a line. I think I'm just going to use my paper trimmer. Right, I'm going to do this off camera because if I muck it up, because I'm trying to film and cut, I'm going to be sad. See you in a minute. So that's where I just stuck that bit. That was the bottom right hand corner. It's got plenty of bits on it, plenty of colour and text as well. Yeah, that's nice. I'm liking them so far. Yeah, not bad, not bad. Don't forget I'm going to decorate these, so I've got plenty of chances here to add something interesting. But what on earth to add? I told you I'm flying by the seat of my pants here. I'm running so behind. I might do a little bit of distressed ink as well. Not sure. Let me think about it a bit. I'm going to check my cut and collage books and see what would go, because I really want to do something on that mauve theme, because, hello, it's lovely. And it's got this sheen that I can't stop looking at. I've already grunged up some of these pieces anyway. Look how those bits peek through the holes, look. Right. So I need to choose which one and decide what I'm going to do with it. So it's not summer yet. Don't need me to tell you that. I'm filming this in March. But I have just found these, and they are passion flowers. And look how nicely they are going to go on here. And you know, if you've watched my videos, how much I love my botanicals, so I am definitely going to cut those out. I'm not sure what will go with them because I don't want it to look like summer, because, you know, why wish your life away, frankly. But I'm definitely going to stick that in there, use those. And what might, those butterflies might work. You know how I love butterflies. Right, they're too summery for me at the moment. Or, those are lovely. I did use some of these on a postcard once before, so those could be a fallback position, or perhaps, don't know, think about that. No, too summery, too summery. They're too summery. Okay, well, let's go with those, and I'm going to fussy cut them and see if I can find anything else that's going to work. Okay, so I was working quite late into the night last night, trying to work out what to make with my postcardy shaped background, and I'm just finding I found some great ephemera, but I'm just finding that postcard's a little bit small and a little bit limiting, and so I've decided to try adding the postcard to a larger background and building up some colours and textures and patterns around those. I love these. Obviously I've got some sort of lavender heathery colours in there, and I did want to kind of go with a bit of a lavender mauve theme. So I was looking through, I was doing an altered book last year. I didn't get very far. I did a few days and then sort of fell off the map, or dropped off the wagon, or whatever the expression is. But it was a Nicola Bayley book, and I love Nicola Bayley's illustrations. I used to use them with children when I was very, very first teaching. She's an amazing illustrator if you look at the detail. As I recall, and I could be wrong, but I think she uses pointillism like Georges Seurat, where it's tiny, tiny dots, but they're so tiny you wouldn't even know they were there. These are some of the illustrations from her book. I'm fairly sure that she certainly used a lot of techniques. Can you see that's all made from tiny, tiny dots? I'm pretty sure. Anyway, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that would go stonkingly well. I didn't fussy cut around the umbrella. I might have to, but it was so late I just needed to go to bed. But yeah, before I go off to work today, I really want to get this finished. I also found this gorgeous bird in my birds to cut out and collage book, which I haven't really used very much, and that sort of emerald green was calling to me because it goes rather well with those and with this lady. And that flower was one that I had already got from my Vintage Flowers book. So I suddenly realised I'm trying to get some impact here because it all looks a bit wishy-washy. And I suddenly realised that I'd got this fabric, I've got loads of it because it was a Roman blind in my lounge and we had all the blinds changed and put curtains up. So I love that lime green. It might be a bit too limey and the bits might be too big, and I haven't got the right glue. I've got art glitter glue, which might work. I don't really know. I don't have the experience. I haven't got a glue gun, and I don't own Fabri-Tac, which I think is probably the stuff, having watched other people, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. But I love how these then suddenly stand out when they've got something behind them. So now I'm going to go back to my Gelli prints. Now I didn't ever go through all these in a video, but I've got some beautiful greens and some really rich opulent sort of purples and plummy colours and maroon. So I love this one. It's just to die for, in my opinion. And it was from the gel plate. It was actually the rectangles were from some stamping I did on a gel plate last year when I was making these for the postcard challenge, but I just couldn't see me using it, so I thought I'd add a few more layers, which is the fun of jelly printing, really. So I layered on this gorgeous gold from a stencil that I had, and I'm just in love with that now. It's so beautiful. And I think, similarly here, I think it might work and make these stand out and make everything sort of sing. But I just need to decide how to cut it up. Do I want those fan shapes coming across, or do I want them coming up from the bottom? I don't want to hide away too much of the pattern, but I think some of these things need to break out from the postcard rather than all being crammed on together. So that could perhaps go behind. I could maybe add some of these underneath. somehow. Anyway, you get the idea. Maybe you don't. Perhaps I stick with the purple. Perhaps I don't use the fabric. I don't know. I'm really a bit lost at this stage. So I'm going to have to just dive in and cut these up or tear them up and have a bit of a play around. Because basically I want that white A4. It's actually photocopy paper. I don't have any posh art paper. That is needing, obviously, to be a bigger, bolder background. Oh, I do have some stamped paper as well. I'm not sure if that's too busy with too many stamps and too much brown, but I might save that for a different project. Thinking. Truth be told, I found this challenge, a challenge, but this particular piece I found really, really challenging. I'm so out of my comfort zone and working on a much bigger scale than I'm really comfortable with. I think it's been many years since I've worked on my own work, other than doing things with kids at school, on even A4 kind of size, because I've done some card making for people over the years, and yeah, smaller projects really. So yeah, suddenly I've got this great big space and I need to do something with it. And I think in the end, I learnt an awful lot from doing this project. I learnt about my comfort zone and my limits, and I learnt that I can transcend those up to a point. How successfully I do that with the whole piece, I'm not sure, but there are bits of the final piece that you'll see that I really feel happy with and delighted to look at. Other parts, I think, had I had the time and a bit more experience, I probably would have done slightly differently. But you can see I am playing about with quite a bold colour scheme here with the minty green and that sort of raspberry plummy colour that I love so much. I've got a furry coat that is that colour that I just wear all the time at the moment when the weather's a bit like chilly. There I am in my raspberry coloured furry coat and I love it, and it was a bargain price many years ago. Anyway, I'm off on a ramble once again. So yeah, I've just sometimes sliced into these jelly prints and sometimes just ripped into them to get some more interest and texture, and trying to get the edges nice and neat so that it sort of holds together. And I really did feel like, if you go for a walk like in the woods and you get a bit lost and you're in an unfamiliar territory, you're not quite sure what's coming up or how to get back onto the path and ultimately how to get home again, i.e. get the project finished. It was a bit like that sort of feeling. I've definitely been on a bit of a journey. Wish I hadn't stuck that gold bit there because it's annoyed me ever since. But anyway, maybe I should have gone back and stuck something over the top. As you can see, I tried to cover it up, but I didn't really like what I did. Anyway, I'm so glad that I had a go at working on this scale and working with this crazy colour scheme. I think looking at the lady with the shell on her head, the Nicola Bayley illustration, that's where I got the colour scheme from. But I'm not sure whether I really needed the postcard. And that was what started me on the whole thing. Anyway, I was watching Kerry the Crafter while I was doing this, and he had done some stenciling with some, I think it might have been distressed paint, or I think he'd got a mixture of acrylic paint and other old paints. That was it. And he'd got them in bottles and they were just leftover colours. So he couldn't tell you what the paint was. It was just an amalgamation of other things. So I've got a bit of old car sponge there to sponge this on. Well, it's a new car sponge actually. It was still in the packet. Some reason it happened to be in my studio or my craft room. So I went in with my iridescent acrylic paint. That's what that was. Tried to think. And I sort of wanted to echo the patterns. And I wished I'd done it a bit more and with some stronger colours later on. But at this stage, I hadn't really thought that through. So, but yeah, if I had my time again, I would go back and do that part again. Can you see what I mean? And put some more raspberry colours, perhaps. Maybe even some rich browns like that coppery colour at the bottom. Anyway, too late now. Once I'd got the background assembled, then it was time to, excuse me, to start playing about with all the elements that I had cut out. And well, this was also very challenging. I think because, and I wish I hadn't, because I'd got that pale postcard right in the middle. I think I love the bit on the left. Ooh, take the pink tea cups and saucers away. It looks horrible, that pink, like with those other colours. But anyway, I'm trying things and I'm experimenting, and that's why I'm quite... If I was a child in my class, I would be quite proud of that child in the class for trying and, you know, experimenting. And, you know, unless you push yourself, you're not going to grow, are you? And I'm really using this Mixed Media March 25 as an opportunity to grow as, you know, a collage artist. I don't know if I'd call myself a collage artist or any sort of artist. Yeah, not that sort of artist. But, yeah, anyway. So, yeah, I just want to get beyond where I am currently and try new things and see what works. And, you know, you're not going to succeed at everything because you still wouldn't be learning anything. And seeing, do you know, I wish I'd left that red butterfly up there because that brings a bit of life to the central part of the collage, which is the bit I've got the problem with in my brain. But gradually, I was starting to build this up. Now, the direction of travel of Snail Lady was kind of what was making me do this particular arrangement, because I wanted it to look like she was walking into the centre of the picture. But because the centre of the picture was paler than the rest, I think that's where it wasn't so successful in the end, this spread or layout, whatever you want to call it. Now, if I was working electronically, I would have flipped that Snail Lady from right to left over to left to right, because generally we read from left to right and our eye tends to travel from left to right. And I really wanted the Snail Lady to be travelling from left to right, because I think I would have been more comfortable telling the story of her little journey into the picture if it had been the other way round. Does that make any sense at all? Hope so. Anyway, I enjoyed all the inking. That gave my brain a chance to just sort of settle. And then I think with collage, I don't know, if you do collage, do you find once you've stuck a few bits down, you know, they're sort of a given then, and you can then start to carry on. But when you're just moving everything about all the time, it's a bit like being lost at sea or lost in the woods. There you go. I'm back in the woods again. And yeah, I'm still really glad I found those passion flowers, because their colours then led me to the snail lady colours, and they're really fun. I could have used them in a much softer, sort of context, really, with like the original postcard. But I didn't. Anyway, you can see how long it took me messing about. I didn't want the bird to be lost in the pale background, so that's how the bird ended up on that plummy raspberry coloured area. Anyway, the clock was really ticking at this point because I had to leave for work, and I apologise because I'm a day late posting this now. It's now Friday the 7th of March, and this was, oh no, I didn't put a number on it. This was day 6, so I'm going to have to go back and film a little bit more and put a number 6 on it now, guys. Oh dear, I thought this was going to be a quick project as well, and it just wasn't. And yeah, my recording time had run out, so I just had to push to get everything done. Anyway, there we go. An intriguing colour scheme, probably too many colours. If I could take a colour away, it would be that big gold splodge, maybe that goldy butterfly on the top left. But then there is a lot of gold because of the iridescence, and you don't really get to see that until I start tipping the picture into the light. So, oh yeah, I did round the corners a little, just to sort of try and pull the whole thing together, because it's a bit bitty, isn't it? A little bit too many little things going on. So the lighting is crucial with this picture to see the, all the sort of iridescence and the golds and so on. And I found it quite tricky to film it so that you can actually see all of the shiny iridescent colours. I think the bit on the left is much more successful than the central part, which I'm not very happy with. And the butterfly on the bottom right corner, I love that there with all the excuse me, with all the gold and so on behind it. Yeah, not so happy with the yellowy splodges, but anyway, the light in my dining room is very golden, so I've just shown you a little bit of the colouring of this there as well. Anyway, guys, I will see you tomorrow. Take care. Thanks for watching. Bye.